I spend a lot of time organizing my ideas, and what I'm trying to do is reduce that amount of time so that I can just focus on action. So, um, right now, I am going to spend a little time organizing my ideas, but with the purpose of finding the right course of action. I want to do what Bishop Barron calls the greatest, the path of greatest love. So I'm going to erase some of the notes I have that I made from the last video and just sort of consolidate them so that um, they look better and I can focus on like solving the right side of this. So I talked about, let me just erase all of this and sort of redraw it. I talked about the interior castle last video and how diving deep into our prayer life and achieving unity with God is kind of what inspires that love. Um, I thought recently about the hero Luffy from One Piece and how he's dumb but he takes action. He knows the exact right thing to do, and he has the strength to do it. And I'm the opposite, where I've used my intellect and my mind my whole life, and in wasteful ways, not really directed toward anything, not directed toward the right things in life. And now I want to actually use that intellect and just do the right thing. So I always want to figure out what the right thing is, but the path is already laid out before me, and there's no reason to beat around the bush and just do it. Um, but I like using the intellect to do it in an optimal way. So I want to look at all the jobs that I have and figure out like what is the best path moving forward. So again, this is sort of a visual journal, sort of thinking out loud. I want to have 7 waves here, or 7 layers. Maybe I shouldn't draw them in waves because that's going to confuse me. But the castle is more like structured like that. Let's do brackets here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this will be prayer, which needs to be my foundation. When I first entered into this current crisis of my life, I went to a priest and he said, "Your spiritual life has to be your foundation." So this is going to be the interior castle of prayer, where we talk about levels 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, where 7 can be done 1 through 3 or 1 through 4 can be done by myself, and then the rest of it will be the work of God. So I want to take a look at these things now, and it's kind of gonna start messy with the notes, but let's just like look around here. So being an art teacher, so I'm still an art teacher, but this is going to be sort of moved into content because I quit my job as after school art teacher. I put in my 2 weeks. I'm going to still work a couple of weeks, but I'm now this can also be put into freelance as far as like if anyone wants personal tutoring. Um, so we can put art education in YouTube, which seems to be still my best performing video. So I'm going to lean into that more. Might do another one today. Twitch, where we just hang out with art, do art. But I also talk about my faith, and I've kind of recently made more friends where I talk about my Catholic faith because the art that I want to produce, I want to be based on my faith. Again, prayer being the foundation, I kind of want you know to live out my own purpose of life, which is love of God. But my recent job, which is going to be the biggest opportunity as far as money goes, maybe I can order these by like potential income, is Apple. So I'm going to move this up to the top here. Okay, so all right, so we have this up here. So I'm gonna move this up. Okay, I like being organized. I like making things pretty. I'm an artist. Um, and what I'm doing here is what I learned in a recovery program called brain dumping. I like drawing things rather than taking notes, and I'm using Krita as my notebook. So art. So this is commissions. commission and tutoring. And this is personal business. So all this down here is personal business. And then up there would be employment. And this would be home. So this is to, for my wife and son. So if we were to categorize these, it would look like this. Employment, and of course, we can put in here, which is very important, family and leisure. Okay. So Apple, I'm gonna get a job with. I'm gonna start working with Apple, and this one, subbing with Scoot has like the highest hourly wage. The problem is they don't give much work, so I'm gonna be getting the most income from Apple. So if we think about how to love, I can put in red, or pink even, uh, love, or maybe a pinkish red. Um, how to love, how to maximize love in each of these things. So let's like find that color. And we'll just think about this a little bit because I want to think about the path of greatest love. So I'm just going to be sort of taking notes here. I'm just sort of expanding these out. So selling, this is like selling phones, selling Apple products. Oh, my handwriting is suffering right now. Selling Apple products. Um, and apps, I guess. And apps. It depends on products, services, and then if I do eventually get the job that I want, which is to be a creative with Apple, I would want to. We would be selling apps. I think that's what you're supposed to do. So the goal that would most fit my talents would be creative pro. So if I were to move forward in this company, they said this is the full-time position. My friend told me that this is the full-time position for creatives in Apple. So that would be like what I would want to work toward, and I can like ask my managers how can I sort of forge a path toward that position. Not that I want to steal anyone's job, but that would be if I were to move forward in Apple, that's what I would want to be. Um, so um, and this is not just about personal growth and having personal ambition. I just feel like this is where my talents can be the best used, and because the best business is the best service, I feel like I can serve people the best. I think growing within a company is by doing better work and doing better service. So I don't want to think about it where I'm like earning more. I can, but that's not the point, because the point is stewardship. Eventually, everything comes back to here. It comes back to home for me, because that is my vocation. Now, with sub work, the only way to really grow in this field is to get a teaching credential, and I'm not that interested in um, education, or at least formal education, because there's just so many things to deal with that I don't want to deal with. The I just like talking about the content itself that I like teaching. I don't really like dealing with like unruly kids, huge staff. Like formal schooling is not really a place that I feel I belong in. But at the same time, that space is available to be improved, or it can be sort of overhauled into a space like YouTube or online education where um, kids can learn things at their own pace and interactively. I think this sort of has a ceiling for me that because there are obstacles. So which would mainly be old structure and bureaucracy that what you would have to deal with. You have public school districts, and um, having a public job is like everything's so laid out by the state and what they think is best, um, which I do appreciate because some of the public schools I've been to have been way more organized than the one charter school I went to, which I guess wasn't the greatest as far as organization. So I mean, there's uh, strengths and weaknesses to both, but I think this is something I can afford to try to explore because the public education system is what educates most people in this country, and it has its failures, but it's up to the people within the system to make the improvements. Um, and just government in general is like sort of foreign to me. So if I were to sort of dive into this career path, um, it would be quite interesting. Now with Uber, this is something that's nice because I can do it whatever I want. Um, it's sort of in between employment and self-employment because it's with a company, but this would be flexibility. So if there is ever a time where if there's ever like some kind of downtime, I usually turn on the app and it's like, okay, if I can make some deliveries right now. And I know the action item for this is getting a car inspection so that I can actually give people rides. Um, so that when I actually go out there, I would be getting work more frequently. Um, Now these personal this self-employment, let's go back to black here. So we go self-employment. This obviously has a higher ceiling, but it takes a great deal of creativity in entrepreneurship. So I've been trying to do this for like um, 6 7 years with like not greatest success. So I mean it's still something I'm trying to do, but I can't really rely on it because maybe I'm simply not the greatest entrepreneur. But I can still try because I still make some small amount of income from these things, which allows for growth opportunity. Um, so what I need to do is like time manage so that I use the right amount of time for these things. I used to do this, but I stopped doing it. But maybe I'll continue doing it. Um, so time manage. So so it would be calculated time management. So simply asking myself, um, how much time should I be spending with these self-employment and entrepreneurship opportunities, and what would be the greatest path of love for any of these? And I think for me, both of these have like potential because I don't really know how much I make per month on between these platforms, but I know that the growth potential for me on either is like it's there. But the problem is I don't have much time to stream on Twitch anymore with more employment, and YouTube is like a little bit more permanent in the sense that the videos stay there, and if they're good videos, people will watch them. So I think this would be the highest priority. So YouTube has the highest growth potential. Not even that like this video is even very exciting, but the point of this is for me to figure it out. Okay, so freelance commission and tutoring. This has like income per hour. So this is like um, so this uses my value per hour. This is like directly helping people, and any one of these opportunities has like a high ceiling. And what I'm looking for is like I guess when it comes to employment, when it comes to income, the path of greatest love is going to be what makes the most income, and then I should like lean into that. Um, uh, JGPM is what I call it, Joy Gold per minute. Um, So with all this, so I think path of greatest love love equals high JGPM. Now, when I record my income lately, I kind of just record them all together, but I can still take a look at like which one is giving me the most. And it seems like right now Apple is give me the most. So I'm going to just lean into that, put my focus into that when I work there. But when I'm not working there, I have the flexibility and time to work on other things. Then I look for lean into those opportunities. Lean into my strengths is going to be so leaning into strengths. So for this now, home life, this is like purpose of the money. This is vocation. So the good that all that we earn is meant for, what we use it for is this, my family. So um, all the income here is directed towards this. Whatever I do in leisure time. So that's how I organize this. So this is more like radiation, where this sort of radiates like a laser. So this, like what I'm saying is that up here, when it comes to my employment, I can think of, being like God, where I'm like trying to spread as much love toward all people as possible and serving them within my employment. But then whatever gets paid back to me, like, is geared towards like the greatest path of love in my life, because it's like I'm doing all this so that it cycles back to me. Um, but so there's still love there, but love with the purpose of like an exchange, I guess. But where it's finally given, the final stewardship where it's just given would be toward my vocation. So um, just growth and health of my family. So it just goes to all this. So I don't necessarily have to expand these, because these are the goods with by which I want to enjoy my life the most, which is loving my family. Um, so right now, if we were to highlight anything, it would be this. This is like right now the biggest opportunity for me, or one of the biggest, because I still have the mural that I'm doing at my local parish, and that's the reason I'm doing that, even though I'm not getting paid for it, is for it to open a lot of opportunity. So I think what I figured out is that in the free time I have, I go by whatever income is available, but or the mural. I guess that's charity work in a way. But there's still a path of love there, and it's for the purpose of opening up artistic opportunity for me. In the meantime, I focus on Apple, which I'm going to start this coming weekend, um, and just thinking what it's all geared toward. I kind of knew all this already, but it's nice to. Well, I didn't know all of this already, but it's nice to see like what I can really put my energy into, and that's the purpose of this video, is to direct my energy. So I'll talk to you guys all later. I love you all. Bye bye.